All right, let me start with this. Do you have to have a diffusion filter with your GH5 to make great videos? Obviously not. And this video is not to convince you to purchase diffusion filters. It's more a video about why I personally use diffusion filters to get what I would consider a more cinematic look with the Panasonic GH5. If you're new here, my name is Caleb, and I've been doing freelance video production since 2012, but this channel is to help you make your own videos, whether you just started or you've been making them for a while, whether you use the GH5 or any other camera. If that's something you're interested in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So a diffusion filter is going to soften your overall image. We know that the GH5 shoots sharp, especially with Olympus lenses, and even with the Sigma 18-35, which I have on the camera right now, and I pretty much keep on the camera about 85% of the time. But a diffusion filter is going to take that digital edge off the image. In fact, let's toss one on right now. You know, that one might be a little too strong. Let's go with this. So a lot of times it's going to be a look that is very similar to, let's say, if you use a vintage lens on the GH5. So a diffusion filter is going to make your highlights less harsh by providing a highlight roll-off. So a lot of times with a digital image, like on the GH5, you're going to see banding in the image, especially like, you know, during sunsets or if you have some extreme lights in the shot. So what the diffusion filter is going to do is create less banding and more of a glow. It'll also make skin look softer and less blemished. And we know shooting in 4K can show a lot of those imperfections, but you're beautiful just the way you are. And talking about glow, it's really evident when you're shooting in low light situations where you have like street lights or neon signs or headlights coming at you, and it's gonna create a glow or a halation around those lights. However, sometimes it can be kind of hard to control, so you wanna make sure you're using it within the context of how you wanna stylize your video. So when it comes down to it, I'm really using diffusion filters pretty much all the time on my GH5 and Sigma 18-35. And I have a couple different ones that I use. The first being the Tiffen Black Pro Mist at an 1/8 weight. And the other one, which I just got, is the Moment Cinebloom at 20%. Now I use these filters for different purposes and different reasons, but I pretty much have one on the Sigma 18-35 at all times. And one of the things I really like about the Tiffen Black Pro Mist at an 1/8 weight is that it is perfect. I think it's perfect for interviews, talking heads, that type of thing. And one of the things I really like about the Tiffen Black Pro Mist is that it's designed to kind of keep the blacks black and keep the contrast in the image. So a lot of times with diffusion filters, it's gonna lift those blacks and the contrast isn't gonna be there. And I've noticed that from the Cinebloom that the image just isn't as contrasty, which is totally fine, but used for different situations. So for client work, for YouTube work, whatever, I pretty much always have the Tiffen Black Pro Mist at an 1/8. So I'm just gonna toss up on the screen when I had my temporary studio in my basement, which I'm still working on my basement. It's almost done, but I'm still working on it. I'll show you what it looks like with the colorful LEDs. And you can see how there's no banding in the image, and it really is a soft image. So the Black Pro Mist also comes in different weights. There's a half, there's a quarter. Recently I put together a video where I actually put together a video with the GH5 from start to finish, and I had my buddy Nate shoot some scenes of me talking, and on his lens he was using the Black Pro Mist at a quarter. But I'll just toss up some of those clips so that you can see what that quarter looks like on the Black Pro Mist. And like I said, the other filter I have is the Cinebloom 20% by Moment, and I really like this diffusion filter. However, it's not gonna have the contrasty look like the Black Pro Mist, but you can get some really cool looking shots with this thing. So I'll just toss up some clips that I took using the Cinebloom 20% by Moment so that you can kind of gauge what that looks like with the GH5. Now, like I said, sometimes the diffusion can actually be kind of hard to control, especially in bright sunlight. Instead of getting rays into the image, you're gonna get this overwhelming glow, especially with the 20%. You know, some of those clips, it might not be right to have the glow. Maybe you want the rays coming in, but it's just going back to how you wanna stylize your video. All right, so I'm just gonna toss up some images where I used a vintage lens, the Minolta 50mm, compared to using the Cinebloom. So you can kind of see they're kind of have a similar feel. So check these out and let me know what you think down in the comments. So ultimately, who should be using these diffusion filters? And what I think is that if you're shooting talking heads, shooting interviews, I really think you should be using a Black Pro Mist at an 1/8 because of how soft it makes skin look, how it's gonna tone down harsh lighting conditions. Now, a lot of times some of these heavier diffusions are used for like dream sequences or kind of surreal sequences. But there's a lot of situations where you can use these diffusion filters to really stylize your video and get that nice glow, that vintage look, and something that I think looks cinematic from the GH5. So let me know down in the comments, do you use diffusion filters? What situations do you use them in? What filters are you using? And if you have any links with examples of you using diffusion filters, make sure you put those down there as well. So again, do you have to use diffusion filters to make great videos, especially on the GH5? Absolutely not. But I think they help. I think you can really stylize your video and give it a cinematic look. And that's what this is all about, is using our GH5 to make some awesome videos. If you have time, it'd be awesome if you maybe stuck around and watch one of these videos that's popping up right here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.